day 3's box, and we're going to be doing a sculpture out of cardboard, and we're going to be making a bird. Inside your box, you're going to find your coupon for 15% off at Bobby's Hobbies and a cardboard bird that I've already cut out for you. I've done the hard part right here. And you're going to find different paints, a little package of Model Magic, and a dowel rod. So join us here at the table and we'll show you how to put it all together. For our next project, we're going to be working on our cardboard bird sculptures. You saw me go ahead and paint all of my pieces, and you can paint yours any way you like. You can use any colors that you want on it, but be sure to make the effort to get down into the little creases on the edges, because that'll help make it look like it's a finished product when we're done. So inside this box, you're going to have all of these blank pieces of cardboard, and you're going to paint both sides. Now you're going to need to wait for them to dry, paint one side, let it dry, then turn it over and paint the other side. And we're going to take these, now that I've got them all painted and they're dry for the most part, we're going to set them aside. And inside this box, oh look, you have a 15% off coupon to Bobby's Hobbies. That's pretty cool. You got the paints that you're going to need, a dowel rod, and some Model Magic. Now, this Model Magic is really cool because if you've ever worked with it before, it dries to the air. I believe, yeah, you don't have to worry about cooking it or anything like that. You can actually just make it into the shape you want and it'll dry hard that way. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna form it into a looks kind of like a potato. Let me move this out of the way. I'm going to set it on a piece of paper and I'm going to push it together, but you want it to be kind of firm. You don't want it to be flat. I like to kind of measure it with from my knuckle to my knuckle on my finger. You want it to be at least that thick, possibly for those of you with shorter fingers, you want it to go from both your pointer finger to your second knuckle on your finger, or the end of your finger to the second knuckle. So you're going to push it together, and it looks like a little marshmallow fluffy potato. And you're going to take your dowel rod and you're going to stick it right down in the middle. Okay, and kind of twist it around in there, and then take your fingers and press it up to help it hold on to that dowel rod. And you're going to want to look at it to make sure that it's kind of straight. You don't want it to be really crooked or leaning one way or the other. So just make a nice firm base for it. And then you're going to take this and you're going to put it aside. Don't worry about it for at least a day or two, okay? So we're going to take this and I'm going to get it out of the way. Then you're going to get your glue and your glue brush from another paint job, one of your other boxes, and you're going to open that up and we're going to assemble our bird. Got wings, tail feathers, and your bird's body. So whichever one you want to start with first, here you go. You take your wing and you decide where you want to put it on your bird. And I think I want my bird to have her wings raised up like she's flapping. So it's super important that you've got both sides painted, but kind of eyeball where you want it and paint that part of that wing with your glue. You don't want to put too much glue on there, but you want enough for it to actually adhere. So take that and press it down like this, and you'll see a little bit of glue squeeze out on the ends. That's okay, it dries clear. Very carefully turn your bird over and do the exact same thing on the other side. So I'm gonna have her wings kind of in a different position, but they're still sticking up over her back. And I'm going to go ahead and paint that part with my glue and repeat that process that you did on the first side. Just press down nice and firm. Okay. Now these three little pieces here are the tail feathers for your bird. And whichever side you want to be the side that faces out, let's see, I think I like this side best. I'm gonna put those tail feathers on this side, and you just repeat the process that you did with your wing by kind of, let's see, I think I want the orange and then the green and then the yellow here, like this. Okay, so what I'm gonna do first is I'm gonna put my green one on and let that dry for a minute, and then put my other two tail feathers on. Like that. Oh, it's sticking pretty good, so I'm gonna go ahead and adhere my orange one and my yellow one also at the same time. Just like this. Look how cute your little birdie is. Good job, y'all. Now, here's where you can get really super creative. Go ahead and let this dry at least for several minutes. That way these are secure on here. But you can take all of your colors of your paints and bring them out and put them out in front of you. And we're going to play around with some patterns and designs on our bird. Now I love using white on these with these tempera paints because whenever it dries, it's really, really bright and pops really well. And I showed you before how to use the end of your paintbrush here to add little dots. So that's what I'm gonna do again. I'm gonna put little dots of white tempera paint all around the outside of my bird's wings. Like this, just add a little visual interest. And if you want to, you can always paint patterns with your paintbrushes on your bird as well. So you come up with a beautiful pattern for your bird or a really cool idea, and this is where you get going. I think I want to do some dots along this orange one, tail feather here, but I want to swap it up and maybe put a line down the green one. So I'm just going to dip my paintbrush, the actual bristles of my paintbrush into the yellow, and I'm going to draw a line from the bottom to the top and maybe give it some little feather, just a little suggestion of feather there, make it look like a little tail feather. And I think I'm going to do some more dots along this yellow one because I really like the way that turned out on that orange one. So just be gentle when you do it. All right, now I'm gonna stop here and let you decorate your bird, and I cannot wait to see what you do when you're finished. Okay, now that you've got your bird decorated and you've got your stand dry, mine isn't dry yet, but just be patient, it will dry. Make sure this is completely dry for at least 2 days before you try to do this part of the project. What you're gonna do is you're gonna get a hot glue gun or get an adult to help you with the hot glue gun, and you're going to pick your favorite side of your bird. It doesn't matter which one. If this is your favorite side, and that is my favorite side, I'm gonna flip it over and I'm going to use my hot glue to attach that dowel rod. Let's see, right there to the back of your bird. So I'm gonna do that right now. very carefully, if you've never used hot glue before, get a grown-up to help you do this. But if you are a hot glue master, then you know what you're doing. You're gonna run a bead of hot glue down it, and you're going to stick your dowel rod on there. Be very careful not to burn your fingers, and let it cool off enough to touch. So just hold on to it for a few seconds. And it should be cool enough to touch, and you can let go of it. Now again, my stand is not dry, so I'm gonna hold on to it. But once you are at this point here, you can take the same color that you painted your bird and paint this part of your dowel rod so it will blend in with your bird. So I would paint this much right here blue. And if I had a pattern that went all the way around, I would go ahead and add the pattern to the dowel rod. So if I had dots that went all the way around, I'd put a dot on top of the dowel rod and then continue that pattern all the way. So after you are finished with that, you have an adorable cardboard sculpture bird. Good job, y'all.